This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, starting at verse 36. And the Lord Yahawah shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord Yahawah shall lead thee. Shalom Yasha'Allah, peace Israel, HALALYAM law, ALAHAYANAWA ABANAWA, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA QADASH. I am the brother Gadol from the Camp Province of Babylon, down here in Tampa, Florida, coming at you with another quick hit through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI. I would like to go on and give double honors to the head elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us His truth and ruled well, being great examples to His younger brothers. And peace, blessing, love, health, and wellness, and all salutations to the hopeful elect. The house of David that is scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth, that are laboring in His truth with all sincerity. Shalom. Now today's lesson that we're going to get into, we'll be going into a little bit of the history of the transatlantic slave trade. Alright, lining it up with a few precepts in an article that I found based on the transatlantic slave trade, also helping you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native American Indians, that you are those same so-called Africans that were not Africans but Israelites, all right, through the regeneration of life, okay, that was sold amongst the heathens in the time of the transatlantic slave trade. Now, going back into that precept that I brought out in the beginning, excuse me, I'll bring it back out for edification's sake. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, starting at verse 36, and it reads, The Lord Yahawah shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. Now in the time of this, that king, all right, was King David, okay? And King David came into slavery amongst the rest of us, man. All right, now I'm gonna read a little bit of this article real quick. This is from, I think this is Britain. So like it says, Britain Naka. I think that's how you would say it. It's an article. And it says transatlantic slave trade. So like a segment of the global slave trade that transported between 10 million and 12 million enslaved Africans. Now, they want to say we were Africans because they took them from the western part of Africa, which is after we fled out of the land of Egypt. That's what we led to. That's what we fled to. We fled to the western part of Africa. So a lot of those so-called Africans were not Africans. They was Israelites, man. All right, those Hamites actually sold us into slavery when you go into it. Okay, so it reads on and it says, across the Atlantic Ocean to the Americans from the 16th to the 19th century. All right, the 16th to the 19th century. Now, Rome came back into power when? In the 19th century, which was time of what? The Renaissance time. Okay, so at this time, Rome was coming back into power. And how was they able to come back in power? By doing what? Exactly what they did. Put us in slavery, man. Okay, along with our king. All right, but this is all because of what? Our wrongful doings. We came to, it said what in that precept? At the end it said, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. And that's exactly what goes on here in Babylon. All right, they serve other gods, wood and stone. It says, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord Yahawah shall lead thee. At one point in time, we were called Negroes, or niggas, or niggers, okay? And then at one point, we was called Afro-Americans, and then African Americans. All right. So those are all bywords and proverbs. If we wasn't the chosen people, according to Deuteronomy 7:6 or 14:2, all right, that peculiar nation, why was our name out of all of these nations changed so many times? Why were we called bywords? Why were we called astonishments? All right, that goes back to the precept Baruch 3:8. All right, for behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, and still to this day they are still calling us by those bywords and those proverbs. Okay, you have these damn devils out here, all right, where they will call them a redneck. All right, those damn devils do what, man? Okay, they see a so-called black man. All right, the first thing that want to come out of their mouth is the N-word, man, thinking that those words are still going to, stir up some people. But a 2/3 Jake in the world would do so, man. Okay, let's read on a little bit more in this article, and then I'll grab another pre-sub. It goes on and it says, it was the second of the third stages of the so-called triangular trade, in which arms, textiles, and wine were shipped from Europe to Africa. Enslaved people from Africa to the Americans, and sugar and coffee from the Americans to Europe. You see? So they needed you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, Salakia. They needed you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native American Indians to come to America to build up their kingdom. Why? Because they were going back into power. Okay? Excuse me, Salakia. Going back to Job 9:24, how the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right? Hell and heaven are nothing but establishments of living. And right now we are in our hell, and Esau's in his heaven. This is his kingdom that we built up, okay, off of the backs in the bloodshed and tears of the so-called Israelites, man, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Read on. It says, origins of the transatlantic trade of enslaved people. By the 1480s, Portuguese ships were already transported Africans for use as enslaved laborers in the sugar plantations in the Cape Verde and the Mandaria Islands in the eastern Atlantic. Spanish conquistadors and enslaved Africans to the Caribbean after 1502. Now, it just said in 1480s. Christopher Columbus came over here when? In 1490, what was that, 1492? All right, so you see 12 years later, you had him come over here and they was already enslaving so-called Africans, which were Israelites. Then he went over here and started doing what? Slaying the so-called the northern kingdom, Salakia, which would be the Gadites and the Rubites, the so-called Seminole and Native American Indians today. Okay, let's grab this next precept real quick. Baba Kashab, bear with me. We're going to stay right here in the book of Deuteronomy, and we're going to jump down to verse 54 or 64, Salakia. And it says, and the Lord Yahawah shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor their fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease. Right, man. Jake find no ease here, man. You're subject to payments. You got to continue to go to work. All right. And then even when you work, you thinking you're making good money or enough money, and it's not enough money to pay off your bills, man. You see? And it says, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. Right. You always at work. You always working. You never get a break, man. You always got to do something, because most Jakes live check to check. If you're not in a career making $30-$40 an hour, man, you're not going to survive here in Babylon. And in some states, it's way worse than it is in Florida, man. California, New York, all right, places like that, man. You see? Then it goes on and it says, but the Lord Yahawah shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind, and thy life shall hang in doubt. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have no assurance of thy life, man. You see, Jake go through nothing but pure damn hell here in Babylon, man. But people love to try to say that this is a place where you could build the American dream. How is that, man? We was brought over here on damn slave ships, man. Okay? You're not going to build no fucking dream here, man. All right? Now let's jump down. Let's jump down to verse 68. And the Lord Yahawah shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, which Egypt just goes into bondage, man. All right? By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Right? No man will be able to save you out of slavery, man. We had to go through this for what? For our reproach, okay? For correction, for what? For going off, for disobeying the laws that was given unto us, man. You see, so we had to go through this, man. All right, let's read on a little bit more in this article. It says, so like it says, after 1502, but Portuguese merchants continued to dominate the transatlantic slave trade for another century and a half, operating from their bases in the Congo-Angola area along the west coast of Africa. The Dutch became the foremost traders of the enslaved people during parts of the 1600s. And in the following century, English and French merchants controlled about half of the transatlantic slave trade, taking a large percentage of their human cargo from the region of West Africa, which is where the Israelites fled to, okay, between the Senegal and the Niger rivers. In 1713, an agreement between Spain and Britain granted the British a monopoly on the trade of enslaved people with the Spanish colonies, you see? So they wanted to get money off of putting you Jakes into slavery, man. Okay, and that's why when you are born with a birth certificate, all right, we ain't gonna get too deep into it, man. But when you go on, they wanted to make sure, these devils wanted to make sure that they was gonna get paid off of everything that you make, regardless of how much you know. Why you think as soon as you get your check, tax is already taken out, man? You see, this place is pure hell, man. But you Jakes love to fucking dwell here and think that this place is gonna be it. The fashion of this world shall pass away, man. All right, let's continue on. It says, under the Acento de Negros, Britain was entitled to supply those colonies with 4,800 enslaved Africans, Israelites. No. Hold on. To supply those colonies with 4,800 enslaved Africans, no, Israelites. Africans, no, Israelites per year for 30 years, man. You see, and we are still enslaved, man. We're just not in bondage. We're not in plantational bondage. We're still in slavery, man. You still are subject to payments. You're still stacked up like sardines next to each other, whether you're in an apartment or a housing complex, man. You see, reading on, it says, the contract for this supply was assigned to the South Sea Company, of which British Queen Anne held some of 22.5% of the stock, man. Let's go to this precept right here, man. All right, we ain't gonna make this too much longer. Lord will, Salakia, Lord will, I remember to put the description. Put the link to this article in the description box so you can go and read it for yourself, man. This is the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 6. Ye were sold to the nations not for your destruction, but because you move Yahawah, move the Most High to wrath, ye were delivered unto the enemies, man. You see? So because we moved the Most High unto wrath, we moved Yahweh unto wrath, to anger, we had to be sold unto our enemies, man. Not for destruction, but for a reproach. And when you go into reproach, it means a correction, man. All right. And that's why the scriptures tell you when you go in Corinthians that we have that the Lord set up the apostles last. All right. To be a spectacle unto the people, man. All right. Loosely paraphrasing that precept. Okay. The Lord set up the apostles last, man. To do what? To reprove our people, to correct our people, to help our people understand who you are. That you are those so-called Africans, not Africans, but you are those Israelites that came over here in the transatlantic slave trade, man. All right. That you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Latinos, and Native American Indians are the Lord's chosen people, according to Deuteronomy 7:6, man. All right. Deuteronomy 14:2. You are those people that were the law, statutes, and commandments was given unto. Psalms 147:19-20, man. Okay. This is not our rest, man. All right. Let's grab this next precept. Let's go over to Baruch chapter 3 and verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord Yahweh, our power. You see? We are still this day in our captivity, man, in which we are our forefathers and foremothers in the regeneration of life, man. You see? So we are paying for what we done in our past life here now in this life. And the only way for us to get to a better life is to serve YAHAWASHI, so that we can be the brothers out there that's pushing his word with all truth and sincerity. Humbly speaking, we can be those men. We can be the elect. Okay? We could be a part of that elect. All right. And for the women that's listening in, you could be a part of one of the elect women. All right. And that will be a woman that is married to an elect man. A woman that is fit for salvation, man. You see? The Lord ain't finna give no woman no spiritual powers to be out of here like Superman, man, like Superwoman. All right. But you could be saved. All right. You could be saved through a man of the Lord, a elect man. All right. So Lord willing, this quick hit was edifying unto you going into the history of the transatlantic slave trade. I'm going to close out and I'm going to give all praises, all glory, and all honor unto our power, Yahweh, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH. And I'm going to give double honors to the head elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us his truth and rule well. Shalom, Abad, Babal, DTA, soon.